Welcome to the second part of my series on installing a virtual machine. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Windows XP on VirtualBox. Launch VirtualBox. Once the manager has launched, select New. Give the operating system a name. Here we will label it WinXP 2. Ensure that you are using the correct operating system and the correct version of Windows XP. By default, Windows XP is 32-bit, so don't choose this one unless you know for sure you have a 64-bit version. Select Next. Allocate a base memory size. This is the amount of RAM that will be shared with your native machine. If you plan to use intensive applications that use a lot of system resources, I would recommend increasing the base memory size of your native machine. Generally speaking, if you're going to be running Windows XP as well as Visual Studio, you want to have at least 3 gigabytes. But if constraints are different, you can lower or increase as needed. I'm going to allocate 3 gigabytes. Select Next. Create a new hard disk. Select Next. Generally speaking, we'll choose the file type for the virtual disk. The easiest is simply to use a VirtualBox disk image in which you select an ISO file. Now the storage details. By default, the partition on the VirtualBox is 10 gigabytes of memory. I recommend keeping it dynamically allocated. That way, the drive will grow as needed. Select Next. Here we can see the location. It's just the title, WinXP2. You can change that if you wish. Here we have the size, and by default it is 10. But the virtual size grows and shrinks as needed and can be modified at a later date. Select Next. Here we're given a summary. Pay special attention to where the virtual disk image is located. Select Create. Here we're given a summary. Select Create. Here we can see a list of all our virtual machines. Here we have Windows XP2, which is the virtual disk that we just created. Right now it's in a powered off state. To run it, hit Start. Here we're given some basic information about using the virtual machine environment with a cursor. The first Run wizard will launch. This will allow initial setups and installation for Windows XP. Hit Next. Choose the media source where your disk is located. And since you're most likely using a disk image, an ISO file, if it's mounted, choose your DVD drive. If the file is on your hard drive, select the folder option and navigate to the location of the Windows XP ISO. Select Next. We'll be given a summary, and once we click Start, it will launch the Windows XP setup. Scratch that. Once we click Start, it will boot Windows XP. Box information. Select OK. Here we're given a setup where we can set up Windows XP, so do a new install, repair an existing copy of Windows XP, or to quit. Since there is nothing installed, the only two options we have is to set up or quit. Since we want to install Windows XP, hit Enter. Read through the EULA. If you approve, press F8. Since we have an unpartitioned disk, there will only be one option. Hit Enter. I recommend formatting to the NTFS file system, which is the native for Windows. And the quick format will make this process go much quicker. The setup will now format. Once the formatting is complete, it will launch the installation. Once the system files have been copied over, the virtual machine will reboot. Pause. And pause. Upon restarting, it will ask you to press any key to boot from the CD. Do not push any key, and then you will be launched into the setup. Follow the on-screen instructions to complete the setup of Windows XP. End.